Well, hello and welcome to a fun little adventure. I see that Richard's already in the chat, throwing in all all of my different deals and all of that stuff. So hey, thanks. Hi. So, like Richard already just said, I'm Ashley. Hey. Um, and this, of course, is Swift Wellness. I am excited today. I was putting together a deals stream and kind of kitchen and things like that. And it was really more focused on meal prep and kind of healthy eating and kind of healthy living and all of that. So yeah, and I just happened to see that there was a bunch of things on deal, so I kind of went with it. To Anthony, how are you doing? I am good. It's sunny. Can you see that? It's very exciting. So I kind of just put it all together like that. And I figured we could kind of go through some of my favorites. Yeah, and of course, if you're in the chat, feel free to ask questions about anything in the stream or just kind of ask questions in general. This obviously is all live, so I would love to answer all of your questions kind of as we go through everything today. So, like I said, I'm Ashley, and we're just going to kind of kick it off and get started with a whole bunch of deals. Thank you. So I also tend to share a lot of kind of similar items from time to time. I think that everybody who tunes into the streams and stuff has probably seen me share some of my favorite products. I personally think it's really valuable to share the things that you and consistently use frequently, because I think that is just viewer trust and all of that, follower trust is super important to me. So that's what you usually see. And I was starting to put everything together, and I was yeah, we could do that, or we could do some new items. So hey, JLo, hello. So I thought we would just kind of get away from maybe some of the normal items that I tend to put in streams, and then instead kind of go and just branch out a little bit today. So a lot of new stuff in the carousel. To Amazon customer and also Anthony, thank you both for the follows. Yeah, so let's do this. So I feel these maybe I have shared kind of recently, in the past. But I do think that they really kind of fall under that meal prep style, kind of theme or mentality or genre or anything like that. Simply because I personally I think we also talk about this a lot on the stream. I like sharing things that are much more budget friendly, or specifically maybe even eco-friendly when I'm talking, kind of about silicone or glass or things like that in lieu of plastic. However, most specifically, I feel there's easy ways for you to save money, and there's also really easy ways for you to meal prep and kind of kind of set yourself up for the week. So in this case, these are a set of oil and vinegar dispensers. So they come in a set of 2, and I have the gold. There is also a silver. I think I just linked the silver, but you can definitely see the gold and also add that as well. But what's really nice about these is they are a little bit smaller than, let's say, a big bottle of olive oil or vinegar or soy sauce or anything like that you might find in the grocery store. And these are also endlessly reusable, refillable, and you can completely add into here everything that you want. So in this case specifically, this is a 350 milliliter set. So this is that gold kind of pour spout that I was showing earlier. And let me take this out. So you can see it also does have that silicone kind of plug. So if you've ever used a pour spout with a, syrup bottle, or maybe, with your favorite cocktail ingredients, that this is what's going to go into the bottle to give you that airtight seal that goes around here, so that when you do tip it up and over, that it's not leaking out or spilling out. But this is also all stainless steel and, like I said, silicone, so it's easy to clean. It won't rust, and it also like won't get kind of like, you can see it's a large kind of pour spout, so it also won't get you know, kind of easily clogged or anything like that. So, and if it did, these, with it being stainless steel and let's say not plastic, you could easily soak these in a little bit of water. You could easily toss these into the dishwasher as well, regardless. So these are really thick, heavy glass bottles that you can use for your oils, your vinegars, your soy sauces. You could mix up like a vinaigrette for a salad. The reason I like these for like meal prep, for example, is if you are someone who likes to kind of maybe make your own vinaigrette or make your own dressing, you could mix it all up in this bottle and set yourself up for the week. And then that way it's really easy to pour like whenever you want to go grab it from the fridge or wherever and use it for your, again, your salads or your marinades or things like that, because this can be stored, for quite a while as well. So many uses that kind of work alongside these bottles. And like Richard says, these are on deal. They're actually like 31% off. And there is a silver version, which is what I have highlighted. Or you can, if gold is more your aesthetic and more your vibe, you could always switch to gold. And then they do come with their own labels. So if you, want to use it for just olive oil, vinegar, or any of those other things that I talked about, syrup is another good example, is you can take these like really aesthetic, like really pretty labels, and add them to your bottle as well. So these aren't waterproof or anything like that. I have had that question before, but these will kind of be resistant to like oil or sauce or things like that. If you are worried, they are kind of like, that little shiny material, but they're very minimal and they're very simplistic, and it comes with quite a few. So you could put, like this says, like red wine, cooking wine, white vinegars, another really good use, like they keep going, soy sauce, etc. Or like I said, if for meal prepping you want to make your own sauce or marinade or whatever, there are some blank ones on here, this one, so that you could write in kind of like whatever you might like to kind of make for the week, whichever. And then JLo, of course, commenting as well in the chat, just kind of talking about it's really easy, of course, if you're like scrolling by, tuning in, things like that. If you're on your desktop, you should see my carousel like to the right of my video. If you're watching on different pages, you might see it below. Obviously, any of the items that we're talking about, like a glass bottle or things like that, you can click on, you can shop. If you're on your mobile phone, I know it's a little different. You want to click on the video itself to pull it up in kind of that like long vertical view, because if you wanted to go to another item, another product, it kind of makes my video that little sticky and kind of puts it up in the corner. So like if you want to tab away and not lose the video and come back to the stream, that's a really good way to do it. Definitely had some people tell me that like they lose it. It's really hard to kind of like see the product and then come back. So that is a really simple way to do it too. So to Ben, hello. welcome. So that was like my little PSA as we were talking about things, but so that is the set of 2 of those oil and vinegars. So now I'm very excited about this. So this is like a new item kind of in my kitchen and in my home. I think this is super cool. So sorry. All right, let's try that again. So there are a couple different variations of this, and actually I have 2 of the versions, but today I was trying to kind of keep it all together, and I was trying to kind of keep it in a cohesive stream. So we're going to go over this. This is like a really great organizer for your wax paper, for your parchment paper, for your cling wrap or saran wrap, whatever you want to call it, plastic wrap. In this case, aluminum foil, for example. And they can all go together in these really convenient organizers. And if you're like me and you get so annoyed that the kind of rolls of paper or wrap get tangled up and they get twisted on themselves, this is probably an option that you want to look into too. So I did link two different versions. One, which I have right here, is one that allows you to have 3 different rolls of whatever you want. And then the other one, which is actually on Lightning Deal, allows you to have 2. So maybe you don't need 3, so you want to look at the 2. Awesome option. I personally think that the set of 3 is the better deal. It's like a couple extra dollars, honestly, and you have that extra storage capability, but to each their own. So here's what it looks like. This is from Space Aid, and then this is what they call their wrap neat, which I think is a fun little term. So this is a bamboo box, and it looks just like this. And like I said, there is an option of 2. This is the option with 3. And then this is my handy dandy little aluminum foil. Aluminum foil tends to be the absolute worst wrap that I just like it. Aluminum foil and I fight all the time. The amount of times I've had a roll where it gets like stripped on one side and then I can never get it straight again. Too often. Like, it happens way too often. So what it does, and this like really great little neat organizer, is that bamboo boxes, of course, very eco-friendly and very durable. Y'all have heard me talk about that over and over and over. But what you can do is it has this little, almost like a little door here on the side. And you can pull this out and you can see that it has compartments and spaces for 3 different rolls of whatever you're using in your kitchen. So then in this case, I put my little handy dandy aluminum foil in here, and these are slide cutters. So if you specifically, I'm using aluminum foil as a example because I hate it, then you don't have to worry about using that like serrated edge on the box. You don't have to worry about getting it at the right angle. If you're prepping and you're packing things up and you're wrapping things and you just want to like swipe across, have that really clean flat edge and keep going with your meal prep, this is your option. So I'm laying it obviously up here so that you can see, but if I were to kind of fold it down, much harder to do this when I'm streaming here, but it's just going to just slide this across and you're just going to have that piece of aluminum foil, again, cling wrap, wax paper, parchment paper, you name it, whatever you like to use in your kitchen. You can obviously organize it and then keep it much more neatly rolled up that way. Hey, Allie, also thank you for the follow. Sorry, I was talking. And then also the great as well. Thank you. So like I said, this is super, super convenient. Whether you like the one like this that has like 3 different compartments for your different wraps or different papers, or you want something a little bit smaller and you just want the 2, either one is a really affordable option. They're both in my carousel. They're both on deal today. So you can kind of choose. However, if you are live, let me pull this up right now as we speak. If you are live, you can probably see that is a lightning deal for the roll of 2. I'm going to highlight it right now. So if you've never shopped one of the lightning deals kind of with Amazon before, they do last for a limited amount of time. So there's actually a timer I can see right now live kind of ticking down, and it looks like there's about 6 hours left or so. Or there's also that slider bar below that says like, this is how many are left. So it's about 13% claim. So you have like plenty of time in terms of like inventory and quantity. So anytime there's a lightning deal, for example, 2, if you add it to your cart, you'll literally see a timer start. It's not one I do, it's all Amazon. And you do have to check out within that 15 minutes or it'll pull it out of the cart. It'll give it to someone else. So just make sure if you're looking and you're watching and you're shopping and this is something you're interested in, that when it is a lightning deal, you're like, I'll check out, I'll come back, I'll keep watching, just so that you don't miss it. Plus, it's like the benefit of being like a Prime like member, right? Like you don't have to have like a $100 minimum or a $50 minimum. Like, I like it. The amount of times I make multiple orders and just ship myself items on my Amazon day is like too often. And actually today I sat and watched on the app. I don't know if anyone else ever watches it, but you can watch it where like it'll say like how far away your driver is from you, and I find that fascinating. I like to like watch and like track them. Okay, so also on here, another item that I think makes your meal prepping in your life just a whole like a lot easier is this silicone kitchen utensil rest. I know that's a huge like mouthful, but it is very fitting in this case too. So this is another one of those items that I feel like I've shared, and I wanted to kind of share again today. And like Richard says in the chat, you obviously click the deal, you add it to your cart, you check out, and move on, so on and so forth and so on. But I think that's the only lightning deal I had today. Maybe, let's see. I'll look really quick. I guess the milk frother looks like it's also on, so I'll add that one too. But so let's go over here. This is one of those items, like I said, that I have shared, and there does come two separate options as well. So you do have, did I not add this to my stream today? Ashley, okay. I did have one more that I was like, it's sitting here like right next to me, and I was like, did I not add that? So I'm going to add it really quickly. So I'm going to add it to the end of the stream. So this is a silicone rest that actually it does come in two different sizes. So let's see, I guess this is what you would call a citrus press, right? I think so. There we go. Adding it to the stream. Okay. And then let me also add these as well. So I was like putting this all together today, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do? So return to stream, and then there we go. All right, easy. Hey Kathy, hello. I was just adding items as we talk. So I try not to miss hello. So, oh my goodness, I'm going to keep coughing today. This is a good time for my Monster Energy drink, right? Okay, so on and so forth. So when I've shared the utensil rest before, one of the reasons I like it, makes it very easy to kind of continue on in your meal prep, because all of the things that I've added today, I am really focused on just like making your life easier, and like how can I just more easily kind of navigate the task, whether it's weekly or it's monthly or daily, of like cooking and storing and all of that. So in this specific instance, if you're, running lots of different burners, you're kind of bouncing back and forth in the kitchen. One thing that I do like keeping nearby is a silicone utensil rest. So one of the reasons I share silicone a lot, because it's a super affordable, kind of awesome alternative to like a plastic, for example, or paper even, or even metal, because if you had a stainless steel cooktop, or you even have like glass, like something that's stainless steel can scratch, can damage it, and we hate that. So silicone, however, unlike plastic, also is really great for heat absorption. So you could easily put this, you wouldn't want to put this on a burner, right? But you could easily put this on your stove or near your oven where it is a hot surface, and not have to worry about this melting like maybe plastic would. Or in the case of metal, just getting really hot and burning, and then you can't move it, right? So this does come in two sizes. This is the smaller of the two. It's a more square size. And then you can see here that it does have the individual grooves. So this is where you could easily I'll use this as an example. You could easily lay your spoon, your rest, your utensil. This is one that I do have in the stream also. This is a really great like little meat grinder kind of press for your pots and pans, but so you can easily just kind of set everything here. So then on the silicone side, it's a drip tray. It's catching any oil, it's catching any water, sauce, grease, like you name it, it's catching this. And silicone is very, very easy to clean, to rinse, to wash. You can also literally take this like as soon as you're done and like toss it into, I was gonna say the washing machine, and that is incorrect. You can toss it into the dishwasher. It won't melt, it won't get damaged, it won't get hurt, nothing. But if you are using this, I like this also like outside, like especially near like a grill, or if you have like a really hot like flat top that you use outside as well. This is another good example. Same thing, I wouldn't put this directly on your grill, but if you had a, you know, kind of like a hot plate nearby or an upper rack or things like that would normally get very hot, this could go there and, you know, be a rest for your like larger utensils, your tongs, your spatulas, things like that. So that's where the other variation of this comes in, where it's the larger one, it's longer. And then that is going to have, I think, one extra groove as well. So if you do have those bigger outdoor or even indoor utensils, that would give you kind of longer length here for that drip tray. So two different ways that you could easily kind of use those around the kitchen, but anytime that you can just like make your life easier and not have to worry about, you know, like, where do I set this? Did I drip all over the place? And like, honestly, meal prep is annoying as it is. So streamlining and then literally cutting down on the amount of cleanup you have to do, chef's kiss. Like that's, yeah, easily my favorite thing. I'm just gonna like swing this around like a club today, I think, when I'm talking, but so that kind of goes along that same kind of thought process, kind of goes along with these measuring cups and measuring spoons. So the next two items, the one I have highlighted and also the one kind of following, are the same brand, they're the exact same style of measuring cup, but one is a set, so a little less expensive because it's just the set of the measuring cups. But if you want a full complete set, or you just kind of like want to you know, kind of revamp your kitchen, there is also the option to do, this is what I have, to do a set with the measuring spoons as well. So one is just the cups, and the other one, if you're wondering, the difference is just or is both of these two things together. So I'm going to highlight that right now, and of course there is like a little bit of difference, but it's like an extra like $10-ish, again, if you're live, to add on these measuring spoons, and I would highly recommend it simply because they're very versatile, and you know, I'll kind of talk about that in a second. But so these do get connected via a ring, so you can take that off or you can keep it on if you like everything together. But aside from the fact that let's use the biggest one because that's the easiest to kind of demonstrate with. Hey, hello. So I was seeing it in the chat. So aside from the fact that stainless steel literally will last forever, like it will not rust, it will not stain, it will not tarnish, like, you know, you could take these anywhere. You can't really melt stainless steel either. So these would be good for camping too, if you tend to be like me and you know, travel a lot. You know, obviously dented, they won't break, etc., etc. But the reason I really like these for meal prep, aside from the fact that when I'm done, I can toss it in the dishwasher and like go on about my life, is that they also have all of the measurements on them that you could ever possibly need. So in this example, I'm just using the largest one, like the big measuring cup. But you can see it has both conversions, right? So you have your 1 cup or you have your milliliters. And then you can see here, if I tip it just right, this like almost little tiny lip right here. And that actually will act as a kind of like there you go, little tiny little pour spout. So if you were tipping it into whatever you're cooking, you're baking, whatever, it will help you kind of funnel. So this is not a dent. This is meant to be there, but a little tiny little funnel, pour spout rather, to kind of go along. But this is probably like the thing that I personally like, is like, again, kind of going back to that, how can I make my life easier? How can I make meal prep easy? How can I make less cleanup? These also, this is a 1 cup, right? But it also has on here, on the outside, you can see it has a 1/2 cup, it has a 3/4 cup, and then it has your 1 cup. So you don't have to eyeball it either. You have those lines and those markings right here, if I can get it to not reflect, on the inside. So I could literally use this as for like a 1/2 cup of milk and then fill it up, and I could use it for something else, and I only have to use this one. So when you're cooking, it doesn't really matter as much, because I feel like they say cooking is an art, but baking is a science, right? So if you are needing to be a little bit more precise, like eyeballing what is a 1/2 cup or things like that doesn't work as well. Like, there's a little bit of room, but anyone who bakes a lot will tell you you can't just like throw things in. But so in this case, you could easily, right, you could use it for your dry ingredients. You could also add it for your wet ingredients, and you can just use those really easy measurement marks on the entire cup. So I keep using and kind of showing you like the 1 cup, but this applies to literally like all of them as you go down the spectrum. So this is the 3/4 cup, and you can see there's a 1/3, there's a 1/2. And they're set up in that exact same way, where they have those internal markers and external. So with the set of the measuring cups, it goes from the 1 cup, which is the largest, and then it goes all the way down to your 1/4 cup, which is going to be your smallest. So all of them stainless steel, heat resistant, rust resistant, tarnish, etc., etc., etc. I will highlight then, of course, the measuring cup and spoon set, for much of the same reason. They are wildly convenient in that these are a little bit different. They are stainless steel. So of course they are, dishwasher friendly, all of that. However, you can see that the shape of these is a little bit different. So if you've ever been cooking, baking, name your kitchen pastime. You've probably had a spice jar or herbs or things like that, where that round, kind of mouth of the jar is very narrow. And so like if you were trying to get like a big tablespoon, or you were trying to do something like that, and you just like can't fit it into the jar, it's very frustrating. Also harder to kind of measure out. Or if I'm pouring it into my, measuring spoon or the like, I, of course, don't want to spill it or waste it, whatever that may be. There's some things that are super easy to pour, like if you were doing I don't know, trying to think, any kind of salt or something like that would easily pour out onto a measuring spoon, but something like cinnamon is going to be nearly impossible to kind of shake it right into the measuring spoon. So because these are shaped in that more oval, more kind of oblong shape, you can fit it then into the jar versus something that would have a kind of a round end on it. So hey Rome, hello. So these are just really versatile for that exact same reason. These are again in that set as well with the measuring spoons and cups, or without. So this is your largest, of course, this is your tablespoon, and then these are a set, and they go all the way down to a 1/8. And then you can see when you get really small, then they go back to that kind of circular shape. But you don't have to worry about it not fitting inside those spice jars or herbs or anything like that. So, okay, I'm going to pin this back together. And of course, there is that ring. It keeps it together, keeps it nice, keeps it neat. So you don't have to worry about losing all of them in your cabinet, in your drawer, wherever. So, okay, so I did realize that this was actually on lightning deal, but it looks like we still have plenty of time, so I can kind of chat about that. So this is from Bean Envy. I've shared this milk frother a lot because it's great. And so I'm going to talk about it, how I like to use it for like eggs. And then I think we'll actually just jump ahead to the Dash like egg cooker because they sync up really well. So the milk frother is exactly like what it sounds, right? You know, that's kind of what it refers to, liquids. So I like it in terms of meal prep. So coffee's great. I love coffee. I have coffee literally every day, or espresso, you name it. And so you can obviously use this. It has like a very easy stand. It just kind of rests right here into the stand, and it is a single push button. So this doesn't charge, this doesn't plug in. It uses a single battery here on the back. Just open it right there. And then it has a really small, almost like dime size probably, whisk on the end with that kind of long stem as well. So hold on a second. I'm just going to, don't mind me guys, I'm just fixing it. There we go. Moving it right along. There we go. Thank you, Richard, for just kind of pushing that up in the chat too as we're talking. So going back to all that now that we can proceed. So this also works really well. So obviously anything I can do to make my meal prep and my kitchen kind of cooking and all of that a lot easier. This is that single button press. So I don't have to worry about, you know, kind of like whisking, and I don't have to worry about, you know, kind of doing everything manually by hand. But this is also much more portable, a little bit smaller option than getting out like those really big kind of handheld blenders or whisks or things like that. So I like this specifically if you're somebody who has mobility issues, like if you have arthritis, you have issues with your wrists, carpal tunnel, things like that, where you can't do that really repetitive motion over and over. You know, specifically maybe someone who's a little bit older, if you're thinking about your grandma, etc. Because it really only takes that one single push here on the end, and it's a really light push as it is, to send that whisk just spinning as fast as can be. So if you're using it for meal prep or the like, I think it works really, really well on anything that's like very liquid. So in this case, I think it's great for, you know, like your protein shakes, or obviously coffee or butter coffee, or anything, you know, anything you think about it. But what I did also, when I shared this once before, I did have someone suggest using it for eggs, and how easy it makes like doing scrambled eggs in the morning. So I really like it for that reason. So if you're kind of whisking up your eggs, you could easily use this little milk frother, and instead of using it for your coffee, just use it to mix up and get that air and get those like really light and fluffy eggs, as opposed to having to do that by hand. Or if you're like me, just slightly giving it a couple stirs with a fork and calling it a day. So you can definitely kind of blend it up a little bit more than that. So this is actually, like I said, on a lightning deal. Ooh, there you go. Michael says, can confirm milk froth scrambled eggs are great. Also, if you're scrambling, egg beaters is another, yes, egg beaters is another good option if you're using like egg beaters, or even, there's that one called like not egg, or like, I can't believe it's not egg, or so there's like a vegan version too. So anything that's like liquid, or if you're trying to like froth in, yeah, exactly, like a little bit of milk in there too, or you're mixing any kind of seasonings, things like that, like really anything that you really want to get blended well and whip up and get that air in, will work really, really well with this. And I can promise you, doing it like this with a single button press, so much better and so much easier than if I was doing it by hand. I just get lazy. I'm gonna be honest. So these are on Lightning Deal today. Of course, I have the black version. They all do come with a stand. I think the pink, which is what I did link in the carousel kind of below, is under 10, I think, with the Lightning Deal right now. So a really, really good option. Michael says my next test is instant pudding. I feel like depending on how much you would put in there, I feel like pudding or like a cake batter or something like that is maybe getting like on that too like thick side. But if you do try it, like let me know. I'm very curious. So then that way I can also like, you know, share that if it worked, if it didn't work. Kind of like where is that line for, you know, kind of like something that can't get blended up like that and some things that can. So and then also, yes, thank you, JLo. I appreciate it. So, okay. So since we were talking about eggs and we were talking about, you know, kind of like using the milk frother literally for eggs, let me skip ahead to this very handy dandy egg cooker. So I feel like, as it's only taken me 36 years on this planet to get the timing and the process down to make hard-boiled eggs. There is absolutely a right way to do it, and then there's like the wrong way, right? So like if you, specifically if you're like making deviled eggs and you need like the shell to come off easily and you don't want bits and pieces of egg to come off with, you know, the shell, then you definitely, you know, need to, what I have found is that they need to be cooled down like immediately, really quickly, and then that'll help everything from kind of sticking. But if that's just like too much work, right? We're here to like streamline and make meal prep easier. So let's just take all of that out. Let's just like not worry about having to time it, to watch it, to stop what you're doing, to put ice in it and cool that water down, all of that. Let's just take all that out. So this is a rapid egg cooker. This is from Dash. Dash makes like the cutest and kind of like fun and like small and portable appliances for your kitchen. I love it. But I also really like Dash because so many of their appliances are geared towards like not huge, right? So like sometimes you could easily do like this egg cooker just like this, where you can get it's like a smaller, more portable size like this. So if you're just a single person living on your own, or you're a college student or things like that, and you either don't have a lot of space or you just don't need to make so many of something, you name it, whether it's like in this case eggs, or if it is man, I don't know, I'm trying to think of other things. Like air fryers can be huge and big and bulky sometimes. That's always terrible. So a lot of these are very small, but they still do have options that are larger. So if you do have a family and you need to cook more eggs, you know, for example, at the same time, you very easily could. So I love it for that reason. They're also super affordable. This is like under $20. So here's my happy, handy dandy little egg cooker. So this works super well when you are trying to do, a meringue. I see that. Richard, messaged me on Instagram and I responded. So I'm proud of myself, but whatever. Maybe, meringue for whipping up for the, I think that would be actually a really good use, because like obviously that requires a lot of whipping to kind of get that really fluffy like egg white for meringue. Yeah, it's a good one. So this is, I'm going to refer to it as a hard-boiled egg cooker because that's what I use it the most for. But you can actually do like scrambled eggs or omelets in here. You could do like over easy eggs. Like there's a lot of different things that you can use this for. So if I keep referring to it as an over easy egg cooker, like just know that you can use it for other things. So as I mentioned, this is a smaller version. There is a larger one if you want more of a family version. That's like a double decker. This is the smaller, of course. So it has this little dome. It's a little, like, this cord is going to be the end of me. So it has this little dome and this easy to kind of like grab handle here. So on the side, there are these little claps. So those are what's going to kind of hold this, dome on. So this is plastic. This isn't glass. But this little lid is going to come off just like that. And then I've put mine all together just so I can kind of show you, but it has a metal hot plate here on the bottom. And then this is your egg tray. So you can use this on its own. So like if I'm cooking like hard-boiled eggs, for example, I'm just going to use the egg tray. But there are two other options where you could use the kind of like divider here for like poached eggs, for example, or you could use kind of like the just larger tray here. And then that would be really great for like scrambled eggs, for example. Hey, Casey, thank you. I appreciate the follow today. So, like I mentioned, if you need one that's a little bit larger, you obviously can always go for the double-decker version. But kind of to show you how it works, there's this little arm. So this is what's going to be like your handle. So like when you get ready to, kind of cook your eggs with it, I'm trying to set everything here. You're just going to take your handle and you're just going to run it through the top. So when your eggs are done, literally what this allows you to do, as I twist it in, there we go. What this allows you to do then is pick the eggs up and, okay. All right, this is how you know it's live. I just like threw it across the room. So this is obviously going to be hot. This is what gets hot. This is where you're going to add your water that's going to steam and kind of cook your eggs. So you're not going to want to touch this once it's done, right? So that's where this comes in, right? So you can just pick it up. This is where your eggs go. So you can see this one does fit 6 eggs at kind of max. And I'm going to be able to just like set it right here on to the top. So if you're cooking something, over easy, over medium, etc., you're going to use this little guy. So it has this is the cup that it comes with. And so this is where it actually is like already pre-portioned for you. So there's your hard-boiled, medium, and soft. And then on the other side, it also has like omelet and poached, if you can kind of see it there. So, but if you're cooking your eggs and they're in the shell, obviously, you're going to take the bottom off and there's this little needle and you're going to take the top of your egg and you're just going to ever so gently puncture the top. So you have that little tiny hole. And then I'm going to set my egg down on here so that the side that I just put the hole in, right, is on the top. From there, I'm just going to fill it up. I'm going to add my water. And it's like as simple as it can get, right? You're going to take your lid, put it back on, twist, and then turn it on here. So there's actually like a really easy to use kind of like, let me kind of give it to you. I pulled this out of the drawer just for this purpose, but it comes with like a little recipe book. So if you're like, well, I don't know, like maybe I want to make, like here's deviled eggs, for example, or eggs Benedict or whatever, it'll kind of give you all of kind of your cooking instructions and, everything that you need. But then it also, like in the book here, I like to make myself like a little Post-it note or a little sticker, but you can see your, like, what is that? Soft boil, I guess is what they call it, all the way down to hard boiled, and it tells you how long it needs to be turned on for. So this one, I think there is a higher level version, but this one doesn't have a timer built into it. I think the larger one might, but don't quote me on that. So same thing here. Of course, if you're cooking for like you're not cooking hard-boiled eggs, you want to use it for your like poached eggs or your scrambled eggs or things like that. You're still going to use, where to go? I'm going to take this off because now I don't need it. And I'm still going to use this flat top because you still want to give your water a little bit of room because this is what's going to heat up and create that steam. So you're still going to use this, but this would be your tray to go in the center for like poached eggs. And then this would also be your tray here for like your scrambled eggs. So same thing, use your milk frother, whip up the eggs, and then you can add it to this tray. So these pieces are, I will say, plastic. So you don't want to like put these into the dishwasher. I think you could, but in this case, most of the time I just like rinse it out because for the most part I always just use this. And so like this isn't going to get kind of dirty in the same way like scrambled eggs or poached eggs would get dirty, right? And then of course it all just kind of like tucks in together. You can put it back. Make sure you cover that little needle, and you can pop it right back into your cabinet. So like I said, this is a really small little portable version, and I just put everything back in here. So if you are someone, you know, like myself, that doesn't have a large family that you're cooking for, it's just you, or you know, you just are a college student or things like that, this would actually be really easy because you just plug it in and you just go from there. Hey Elizabeth, thanks for the follow, and also TQ, thank you, appreciate it. You could easily use this like in a college dorm too as well. It's just a little bit of water, heat it up, cook your eggs, go on and so forth. So very, 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 very useful. There are other like different colors. I think maybe just the white is on deal today, but I think they're all kind of like in that same kind of price range. Obviously I have the mint and it's super cute, but I digress. Everyone's just like jumping in. I always love it. Okay, so since we're just kind of talking about all things like heat related right now, I figure we'll just talk about the electric kettle. So this is another one of those items that is on deal. They're all on deal today, let's be honest. But there is also another 10% off coupon on the listing, so it is on deal, and then it has that extra 10% off. So this is obviously a little bit more of an expensive item on the stream, but this is probably one of the much more useful ones as well, especially again going back to that idea of if you're meal prepping, if you're cooking, things like that. This is going to heat up your water, your tea. I've boiled like milk and stuff in here as well, and you can do all of this by plugging it in and setting it on the countertop or setting it onto the table and not having to waste and use up a burner on your stove. So I love it for that. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it. So this is the electric kettle that literally will do absolutely everything for you. So it comes with these presets, and of course you don't need to use these. It just makes your life a little bit easier because they're just like one button, touch, press, walk away type of situations. Thank you, you guys. So that I don't drop this on myself, I'm going to show you a little bit closer. You can see there are the different buttons. This is just like if you want like, sorry, this is dirty because we use it a lot. This is like to boil water or boil black, right? So that's going to be the button you would use. But if you're making like coffee or oolong or green or like white tea, you could easily kind of like just press one of those. But then even better, what's nice is, you know, yes, you could put it on the stove. Yes, you could boil your water in like a standard kettle, but this does have a hold temperature button here. So if you were heating up water for whatever you're using it for, you can press this hold button and it will hold that temperature at the temperature you want it to be at for about an hour. So like max it out kind of like at an hour. So you can like literally set it, leave it, forget it, and keep doing all of your cooking, all of your meal prep, all of that without having to constantly check on it, constantly putting your water back in the microwave to heat it up, or having to keep that burner on the oven, any of those things, right? Make your life easier, not harder. And then of course this just plugs in because it is electrical. And this is a whole, very heavy actually, stainless steel kettle. And so that's what's going to be, you know, very, very conducive to heating up. And then you can see on the inside, it's just all that stainless steel. And I like gooseneck kettles, specifically if you're a big coffee lover for like pour overs, because you can really control the flow, like just a very consistent stream. But there's a zillion other reasons that you could easily use to, you know, kind of like, again, kind of really control the pour of like whatever liquid or anything that you're using. So I definitely use this a lot for so many different things. I'm not a huge tea drinker, so I'm not generally, kind of like looking to use like the green or white tea buttons, but it does correspond to a temperature. So if you're using it for something else, like you have the temperatures already kind of like set on the button. So once it reaches that temperature, it won't go over. It stays very super precise and consistent as well. So really nice, like really heavy kettle. It does have the electrical coil here on the bottom. So I would recommend kind of just rinsing it out and doing a hand wash so that you don't damage this. But the stainless steel, is easy to clean as well. So Rome says, I like that. I know, isn't it fun? Okay. Hey Ray, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So, okay, so this is a really fun, I don't think I've shared this like a long time ago, and I feel like I haven't shared it in a while, and I feel like I talk about so many like space saving options and different kind of like utensils and things to kind of keep in your home, and then it's like, how can I not talk about like this chopper? So this is like a 90 million thing. It's, I'm going to say 90 million, but it is so multi-purpose. This is literally like a 13-in-1, kind of meal prep, kitchen prep, cutter, dicer, chopper, slicer, mandolin, you name it. This is all kind of together in this singular and very easy to use little gadget contraption. And I want to point out that it is on deal already. It is, 41% off. And then I'm looking at the listing right now, and there is another 20% off coupon. So that already makes it like under 20, and you can tack on that extra discount. You can just stack it. So this comes with literally, I think, every single thing that you could possibly need. So it does pack all up together into this very convenient, easy to store container. And it is a mandolin, it is a slicer, it is a dicer, all of that. It's all made of stainless steel. So this, of course, is like plastic, but all of the blades and whatnot are stainless steel, so they'll stay sharp, they don't get dull, and you don't have to worry about that either. But it also has, I'm just going to break this down and kind of show it to you in pieces and kind of go from there. But this is your tray, so you could easily use it like this, right? And use it and have this big kind of reservoir for like what you're dicing, slicing, chopping, etc. Or you can also, let me unpack this, like I said, you can also use this, this basket, and you can place it in here, and then that just is easy to kind of like pull out and grab out and just go on, and so more. Worth it if just to make home fries. Oh, that sounds so good. You're gonna make me like very hungry in this right now. So from there, you have two different compartments. So like I said, this is a mandolin. So this is your kind of like slicer, dicer, chopper. And this is your mandolin handheld kind of finger protectant, like let's call it that. So if I was using it, whatever, insert your thing here, let's say a potato, because we're talking about home fries, I would use these very little sharp little stainless steel tongs, and I would set my potato. This is working obviously just like a mandolin if you've ever used one before, and then that way you are able to go down and go through and slide this way down, and you're slicing your potato. This case, this is like more of a grater, so I'll show you kind of the difference in a second. But this also has these little finger protectors. So if you have been using it before, the amount of times I've like also mandolin sliced a piece of my finger, more than I can count. I'm so excited about this. I've seen this so many times. I can't wait to get it. Oh yeah, Amanda, absolutely. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, make sure meal prep's so much easier, right? So there's two different versions of the top. So in this case, you have the mandolin on the top. So this is kind of like the grater. But in that little kind of easy to store and kind of easy to carry, you do have your other blades. And obviously all of the kind of longer, more rectangular ones will fit here on the top. So that's what you're going to use to, let's see here, switch out the top. I'm switching these backwards. So they just literally snap in. Hey Ramses, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. And like Richard said, I'll just quick segue. $15.91 is with what it ends up being when you take that extra 20% off. So you can easily switch these out. So here's like, for example, like a grater. You just like pop it out and it just has the little tabs here. So just in, and you just snap it closed, and then you can go from there. And so you're just using your mandolin on the top. So this is kind of where you get that like 13-in-1, because you're gonna have like your, I would say like your cheese grater, so that I would use it for, and you have like more of a ripple. So there's like your home fries, right? If you're making those, or you have your true like mandolin blade, and then there is like also a kind of like larger grater as well. So you have the two different sizes there. I'm going to set these in so nicely back where I found them. I like to keep things very organized when I'm like talking and chatting. But in addition, you do also have, should have talked about this when we talked about eggs. This is like an egg strainer, right? But you also do have the center compartment where this becomes a masher. So if I was like dicing or chopping or anything like that, I'm gonna put this back in just so you can have it back on the top. And then when I open it up, this is where it becomes a like chopper, for example. So in the center, much like the top here, this one, you have the compartment where I could put a, again, this is stainless steel in the center, so it stays really sharp. I could put the larger kind of dicer. I could put like a smaller, you can see much smaller cubes. Or if you are using eggs, right? This is your egg strainer. Hey, Amazon customer, thank you. And then as well, hello. So in this case with the egg strainer, you're not gonna use it, you know, kind of to dice, but let's say I'm using this one. I'm just gonna, same thing. I'm just gonna set it here into the center. Oops, let me do this. It's much easier when it's sitting on the table. Snaps in, and then I would just put my, I don't know, insert your thing, right? Your potato or whatever here, and then you're just gonna take this and you're gonna push it down, like give it a chop, give it some like pressure, right? And then you have your dice kind of like masher here on the top. So you're just using it again as that kind of like smash. So you have two different sizes, that smaller and that larger. And then what I dropped on myself earlier when I was sharing it is the little comb. So the little comb is what you would use here. So like if you were doing something that, you know, kind of is getting stuck in here, it's just easy to kind of use that to clean it out, pick it out. So again, you can literally grab this out of your cabinet or wherever and go right into meal prepping. And you can use this container. I put everything kind of back, but you can do one reservoir, one container, and then you can always use this basket. So you can quickly and easily kind of switch between a couple different things if you're mashing, dicing, chopping, glazing, So really, really, really incredibly affordable. I think Richard said it right. What did we say? Like 15, 16 to kind of finish it out in terms of final pricing after the coupon. Love it. Cool. I love an affordable find. So this is another one. Like I said, I usually try to kind of like stay away from all things like a plastic. I usually do share like silicone and things like that. But this one, it works really well. And it also has stainless steel, where like stainless steel matters, right? Like on kind of like these tines to kind of hold in your fruit or vegetable. It has stainless steel on all of the blades. So it's like very easy to use, and then also to like clean it super easily as well. I would also, this is just another one of those things where I would suggest not putting it in the dishwasher, but obviously you can like very easily toss in, those stainless steel blades and not have to worry about it. But I would say, specifically knives, anyone with a sharp blade will tell you like it dulls the knife so much quicker if you're tossing it into the dishwasher. So like hand wash on that kind of thing is probably the best idea, or just like soak them just by setting them in a little bit of soapy water. But they clean up so quickly. And honestly, if you put these in the dishwasher, they're probably going to be fine. I haven't had any issues, but I don't want to tell anybody that and then have you do it and come back and be like, Ashley told me and I melted it. So that just happens, right? So mashers and choppers and all of that. So this is just like one of those like really affordable things. Like it's very inexpensive. But I like, let's see here. I'm going to pull up here. I want to see if I had my video queued up for these kind of like salt shakers. And I do right here. There we go. I was like pulling it up. So kind of just talking about gizmos and gadgets and all of that. And then obviously kind of talk about my like mallet here. These are electric salt and pepper shakers. So you absolutely could use these for anything else, like anything that you want to grind, like in this case, peppercorn, Himalayan pink salt, things like that. If you have cloves or you just have something else that you prefer, like your own seasoning blend that you make, any of that can go into these. It doesn't have to be salt and pepper. So just if I call it a salt and pepper, do know, just like everything else, that there's plenty of uses. And so they do come in a set of 2. And they make your life really easy because if you're cooking, you're prepping, you're doing all of that, and you're constantly moving between different things, this just makes your life easy, especially when it comes, you can see in the video, to grinding. So if I was doing something where I was making a sauce or a soup or I was stirring something, this is allowed to take this and you're going to tip it upside down and it's automatically going to do all of the grinding for you. So instead of having to take 2 hands, which of course is very easy to do, but it will do all of that for you. So if I was stirring a batch of something or I was folding in a type of seasoning or spice, I can do both of those things at the same time. This is another one of those items that I like suggesting to anybody who may have issues with mobility, may have arthritis, may just not have, the hand and grip strength to maybe grind with a traditional grinder. Some are very easy to use, but not every single one is. So this will do kind of all of the work for you. Hey, Addie, hello. Elena, I'm not sure what you're asking, but thank you. So happy to answer if I can. So with this one in particular, I'll kind of show you. I think the video does a really great job. This is all electric. This is all battery powered, and this is also gravity weighted. So what that means is like when it's like this, it's not, kind of doing anything. So I don't have to turn it on. I don't have to, kind of worry about doing literally anything manually. All I have to do is tip it upside down, and as soon as you have that gravity switch and you tip it upside down, it will automatically start grinding. So you can see here in the video, it does also have a little light in there as well. I like that for outside use. Like if you're doing any grilling or you have an outdoor party where, it might be a little dimmer or more, kind of dusk. In that case, it's just super useful. So you can see how much salt or how much pepper, how much seasoning you're adding to something, specifically like grilling, I think. Hey Yogi, a long time no see, I feel like. But going back to that idea of meal prep and cooking and the like, I can easily have my peppercorns, I can have my pink salt, and I can just tip it upside down. So this has your grinder here at the top. So as I twist it, I can control the grind. If you want it, finer, or if you like it chunkier, you can control that right here. So again, you don't have to worry about, going back and forth and turning on and turning off any kind of settings, or having to stop what you're doing to manually grind, etc. And then of course you can see here, I can just at any point, wrong way, let's go this way. There you go. It just twists off the bottom there. It does. Can you tell it fits snugly? Fits snugly. You can twist off the bottom and refill this whenever. So this is, again, endlessly reusable. This is and silicone, stainless steel as well. So very, very useful to use. And the set itself, like I mentioned, is under $25 with the deal today. I have the stainless steel silver. There are also like rose gold. I think there's a black. There's like a matte silver, I think. How was my adventure? Warm and sunny. It you know what? I was back in Texas, so it was like warm. It was fine. It got cold like one night, but it was good. It's going to be amazing this weekend. I'm so excited. I'm going to do a lot of planting this weekend, I think. So it does come in a set of 2. I do think you can get 1. I think there's only 1 color if you just want 1, but it's such a better deal, I think, to have 2. And again, salt and pepper, easy. So like you can see in the video, it also does use batteries, so you don't have to worry about charging it or plugging it in, and it's completely portable for that. So, okay, let's go right here. So we really can't talk about meal prep and prepping and food and all of that without kind of talking about a set of pots and pans. So this, I want to point out really quickly, this is like a set. So this one's on deal. I want to say it's like almost 50% off today, I think. But this is a set of 10. There's as many as like a set of 20, I think. Or if you want, you can also, like, this brand is like, I think it's called Carote, but I never can pronounce anything correct ever, I feel like. They also do sell singles. So if you just want a saute pan, or you just want a saucepan or something like that, you don't have to like commit to a full set. You very easily can just, do an individual, but the full set is like such a good set. So I just want to start off with, hey, Yellow Rose, hi. So I just do want to start off with that I do also have the Carote pots and pans. I've shared those. I like them. They're just very expensive. And so they're also very heavy. Let me say that too. So I wanted something that was a little bit smaller and a little bit more easy to use, especially like when I just want to make like sauce and I just like want to heat up something quick. I just want like a small little saucepan. So I started kind of like dipping my toe into the water of these pots and pans, and then I do have like a larger version, and then I think I convinced my mom to try one, and I think they're great. They're awesome. So pull it up here. This set has a set of 10, and then of course, like I mentioned, you can like go all the way up to I want to say like 20. So this set of 10 in particular has like 2 different sizes: frying pans, a saute pan, your casserole, like larger dish, your saucepan, and then also like your steamer. So I feel like the set of 10 is like a very, like, it covers all of the bases of things that you would most commonly use and need. So I think it's like the best version, but there are, sets that have more. I think the set of 10 is perfect. Some of the other ones I do think come with silverware, like utensils and stuff, but again, set of 10, I think it's great. So these are probably the reason that I like it is do go back to that idea of being eco-friendly. I have had some of the other pots and pans because I there's been so much kind of research and kind of study on, Teflon and all of that kind of like non-stick coating eventually like slowly like degrading and chipping off and leaching into food. And so there's all of those like weird chemicals that people like, we don't even know how much stuff is like creeping into our food stuff that way. So there's definitely been a really large kind of movement, and rightfully so, to kind of get away from all of that and kind of switch over to like a non-stick material or composite that is still really great and non-stick, but doesn't have that same ability to kind of leach out into your food or, kind of anything like that. So these are what they call like a non-stick granite. I don't exactly know what the material is, like what it's like made of, but they call it like a granite. So it's very, very, very lightweight. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted one like this, because the other ones are so heavy and they're great, but they're very annoying to use, right? So this is super, super heavy. And then that granite material is like naturally non-stick. So it works so well that I feel like most of the time I've now switched. This is like the larger of the saucepans. I actually make my eggs on this in the morning because it's so easy to like wipe clean and be done with. But they're incredibly non-stick. So in this case too, I guess I think it's aluminum actually is what I think these are made of, and now that I'm like touching it and kind of like playing around with it. But you can easily wipe these clean, but I will actually tell you, I toss these into the dishwasher. That's probably the number one thing that I like about these. I'm not 100% sure if you're even supposed to. However, I do. And they're great. So I think that they say that they're not dishwasher safe, but I 100% put these into the dishwasher and have had no issues with the like non-stick kind of like degrading or anything like that. And honestly, that's probably for me was one of the selling points of that. And so they also are, depending on what you have for a stove, right? I have like a glass electric cooktop range, but if you have they say gas or electric. I have electric, but if you have gas, if you have ceramic, or even if you have induction, right? Like you have to have those special pans for induction. This will work on all of those. So you can like use it no matter what kind of cooktop that you have. And then, like I said, it's so incredibly non-stick and it's like very, very lightweight. You can watch me do this. And it even has that little pour spout here on the side to make it easier to use. And then of course here is your lid. This is glass. And then this is a like really soft, almost like a silicone coated material here. So you can grab this. This doesn't get hot if you're cooking with it as well. So yes, thank you, Richard. I would prefer that no one's adding any kind of links, obviously, in the chat. Plus, they're not clickable. So obviously, if you have a question or you want me to share something, let me know. I'm happy to do that. But links, I feel like, just kind of clog up the chat in the channel. So, oh no, your internet went out, boo. And Killer says, hello. So just kind of going back to that idea of like, just terrible Teflon or non-stick coating and things like that. This is that aluminum composite. This is that kind of like, they call it like a granite material that is naturally non-stick. So it doesn't have lead in it. It doesn't have cadmium. It doesn't have all of those long lettered acronyms, right, for different chemicals that have been, kind of like traditionally in those like, non-stick coatings. So you're not having to worry about anything scraping off or, getting into your food. Let me just say it like that. So I put them in the dishwasher, have not had issues. I've had these for months and months and months and months. Had no issues. It does say hand wash. Even if you choose the hand wash, I'm telling you, it takes like 2 seconds. I make eggs in here because they wipe off really, really easily and very quickly and very cleanly. But, do what you say. Like, do as I say, maybe not as I do, but I'll just be honest with you and tell you what I do. So, like I mentioned, this is the set of 10, which I think is a really great starter set. It's also incredibly affordable. Sometimes like nonstick pots and pans that are a good quality are so incredibly expensive. Or if you're looking specifically too for like induction, because they have to have that special kind of like metal bottom, they're also harder to find. They tend to be more expensive. So if you're wanting to kind of make that switch, maybe you have really old stainless steel, maybe you have, that kind of Teflon nonstick coating pots and pans, and you're like, I have to get rid of it. I want to be healthier. I want to not put that into my body. Then this is that kind of set to start with. But I totally understand if you're like, that's too much, this is expensive, I don't want to spend that much on pots and pans. Or you just like don't want to commit to 10, like that's fine, I get that. You can get these in individuals. So yes, thank you, JLo. Or Richard rather, I appreciate it. I'm like scrolling through the chat, everybody. So easy. So of course, if you have any questions, that set of 10 is what I linked in the carousel. That's actually the one that's like 47% off. They're all like the 10 pieces under 100, and I think so is the 11 piece. But it goes all the way up to like 20, 21 or something like that. So if you feel like you need a wider range of pots and pans, go for it. Okay, so we did talk about the eggs. All right, so talking about a couple different utensils or tools kind of used in your kitchen. I use this a lot, honestly, for like cocktails, I'm gonna be honest. But you could use it for like anything that you wanted. But this is a 2-in-1 citrus press. So this is a juicer, you could say. And I like it because it is that 2-in-1. So it works well for like your lemons or your limes. And you don't have to worry about the size. So clementines also would work versus oranges. You can use it for any kind of like your fruits or your citrus. So it doesn't have to be lemons and limes, but it's kind of color coded like that because you can see this is your press. So if I took my lemon, my lime, my fruit, whatever, and I cut it in half, I'm pressing it down here into the bottom. So the skin side goes up like this, and you're going to press it right down there. And then as I flip it over, I don't want to smash it so you can hear, then it just squeezes all of the juice out of the bottom. It's just a very quick way to add a lot of pressure. This obviously is more of a manual. There's of course electric and battery powered versions of these type things, but it's also just very affordable to do this. I use this a lot for like lemons, like I said, or oranges and cocktails and the like. But you do have the larger one. This is for the larger fruits or the lemons. But then the second piece of the press is for like smaller ones. So that's your like key limes or your clementines or your cuties, I guess they call them. But you can use that as a smaller version on that press. So you're just squeezing out all of the juices and adding it to your cooking or kind of like wherever. So very simple and very like easy to use little kitchen gadget and tool. But I did also just want to share this little guy in the stream. Very easy. And of course, like what stream would it be about like a meal prep and all of those containers? Rather, what would it be like if it was a meal prep stream and I didn't include containers to put the meal prep in? So I do have both of the kind of variations that I have from Joy Jolt. And I'm going to put the video up because I realized I didn't set the glass containers over near me today, and I can go grab one, but I think the video does a really, really good job of just showcasing it anyway. And these come in a set of 24. So sometimes you'll see it where it's a set of 24, and that means 24 containers. Sometimes you'll see it where it says like this, for example, where it says 24 pieces. So what you'll have in here is a glass set of 12 different containers. So you have 3 different shapes, and you can see me kind of filling them up here. So you have a large, a medium, and a small, and you'll have 3 different shapes: your square, your rectangle, and your circular. And then of here, so you can see the different sizes right there, you do have 2 of the smallest in every shape. So you'll have 1 big, large, medium, and then 2 smalls of every different kind of shape and variation. But the reason I like this, and I know that like Yogi can attest to this too, is that they are unbelievably airtight and unbelievably leak proof. So this is like my holy grail when it comes to meal prep, because if I'm making sauces ahead of time, if I'm making meals ahead of time, if I'm doing anything like that, I want it to be as absolutely easy as possible. And I also like want it to last as long as possible, right? Like the last thing I want to do is spend so much time in the kitchen, spend so much time making my food or my sauces or my soups or my marinades, and then put it into the freezer. And when I go to pull it out a week later, a month later, a couple months later, and it's freezer burn and it's frosty and it's gross and it's like completely ruined. So these are going to be so good for that, because as you can see, they do have that silicone ring and that really kind of heavy clasp on all of the sides. So that's going to press it down. That's going to keep all of the air out. That's what's going to be making it completely leak proof. So for example, like I said, I know that like some of y'all have done experiments. I think Yogi did one with like lettuce about like how long can I leave it in there and it lasts. And it does work so well to extend the longevity of all of your food, of all of your meal prep, of all of your cooking. So obviously I talk a lot about like meal prep in the sense of make ahead, but one of the best, if you're thinking about like, do I want plastic containers? They're so much cheaper. My argument to that is these are really thick, heavy glass. They're very shatter resistant. I won't say you can't shatter them, because you can, it's glass. But the best part about this is that glass is so thick that I could take my container directly out of the freezer and I could put it directly in the microwave or the oven and not have to transfer it, not have to worry about it breaking, about it melting like plastic would. It makes it so much quicker, so much faster. Same thing goes if you're making leftovers or meals or things like that and you're taking it to work. We have probably every single one of you watching right now has probably at some point put pasta in a plastic container, and then the plastic container is now orange, right? So it's like that pasta sauce and that color like leached into the container and into the plastic. So that's terrible, right? So trying to avoid that with the glass is a much more like healthy option. And I've also heard different people say as well, thank you, Richard said that they are the containers, the ones that I've highlighted right now, those JoJo ones are 56% off, right? So they're really, really affordable, and also on a really great deal as well. But one of the other things, like this is why I love y'all to kind of jump into the chat and talk and share and all of that, is that y'all shared with me that if you want, some people just like bake in them directly, like a small casserole dish or like a glass pie pan or cake or things like that. Anything that you would like bake for yourself in glass, you could easily bake in these, and then once they've cooled off, you could snap those lids on and you could store them as well. So in this case as well, the lids are plastic, so they have that silicone ring, and the glass is on that bottom container. So it does say that you should hand wash them. These I can confirm, and I know that some of y'all have told me that you do it as well. I do put these in the dishwasher. I've had no issues. I put them on the top shelf, on that top rack, and I've not had any issues with them losing their, kind of like the silicone's losing that softness. It hasn't changed anything in terms of like, leak proof, air proof, all of that. And they don't melt or anything like that. So again, do as it says, not as I do. However, I will say that I do that. Make your life easier. So, hey Ben, again, hello. And then of course, Richard just kind of keeps sharing everything about the chat. Come join, come shop, come chat, ask questions. Like, I am here literally to answer your questions. Way more fun for me to answer questions than it is to like just talk into the universe right now, right? So of course, kind of just chatted. I shared the couple different versions of the Joy Jolt. They're both on that deal. They're both at $38, and they're both like, a really, really, really great deal in terms of like how useful and just like how much like day to day, week to week, month to month use you'll get, and how much longevity that they will have. Ben has a question. Yes, feel free to answer it. Ask away, and I will answer it rather. And yeah, we'll just kind of keep plugging along. I think this is the only thing left, though. I think I did talk. I'm like scrolling through the carousel as we speak. I do think I talked about everything else, so that is always good. This falls very much in line with kind of like the double citrus press from like, I think it's a Zule is how you would say it. And it's just a meat chopper. Like, this is like one of those things, it's so easy and simple to use, but it's just a little meat chopper. This is heat resistant, so this is like a heat resistant tool, and it's not going to scratch your pots and pans on that nonstick coating, etc. But really all that I do with this is just a quick way to kind of break up your ground beef or anything like that as you're cooking. If I put, again, my ground beef in there, you have, most of the time it'll come, I don't want to say log is the wrong word, but it'll come in like a package, etc. Especially if you're pulling it out of the freezer, right? If you're pulling it out of the freezer and it's already frozen, you're going to have to break it up in the pan. So you can just easily take this. It looks like a little pinwheel, and I just use that as my masher, and I just twist, and it helps kind of break up the meat. So it's really affordable. It's really also super easy to use. It just is like one of those things that makes your meal prep just a little bit easier when you're doing it. And another one of those like under $10 finds. So that is my last little thing on the stream in terms of like things that we haven't like touched on or haven't covered yet. So of course I wanted to make this whole stream very much centered around like health and wellness and meal prep and things like that. And I share a lot of my favorite things that I use on like a daily basis. So I did want to make this one feel a little bit different. I did want to talk about, some products that maybe, you haven't seen me share before, because I think that's more fun. But I also am wanting to kind of put together some streams. So I have definitely heard you, in the collective you, and I've definitely heard that y'all have kind of talked about wanting to have more of a consistent time or a consistent schedule or things like that. So I feel like some of the streams that I have the most fun with are streams like this, where it's centered around meal prep and healthy eating or food, or like earlier this week I did one kind of on self-care, right? Getting off a plane, relaxing, refreshing, resetting. So I want to kind of start to like work on like, I guess what you could call like a weekly show. So I would definitely love, especially if you're watching right now and you're tuning in, is like, what do you like? What do you like to see? What is something that you don't see enough of, whether it's on Amazon or it's on any of your streaming networks or things like that you feel like you would find a lot of like value in? I definitely can think of things. I think doing some like fitness questions or workouts or, kind of things like this. How can I make my life easier with meal prep, etc. I think all of those are really fun. And so, but I also want to hear from y'all, right? Like, you are my followers. You tune in all the time to different streams that I do. So I feel like you are all the best experts on like things that you want to see. So, oh no, I know I have heard that there's been a lot of like, yeah, there's been a lot going on lately. So I get that. Mine's working, knock on wood, today, so we're good. Today I'm not getting ruined. So Richard says, I think you do a good job of mixing it up. I still want to mix it up, let's be honest. Like I don't want to like become a one-trick pony here, right? But I do think it would be fun to kind of do like a weekly show, like a weekly topic of something. I think like, you know, my handle is Swift Wellness, right? Like that's literally what we talk about. So I think you can obviously like switch it up and self-care and refresh and all of that type of stuff. But like, do you like more fitness? Do you like more nutrition? Do you like, y'all like plants? And I have some thoughts on that. I have like some ideas that I'm thinking of, which I also do feel like very much falls in the wellness category. Like the amount of times that I've found like a lot of zen and relaxation by going out and like, you know, being in the garden is very high. Or as you can see, you know, the mental health benefits of tending to my indoor plants. Let's go this way. So I definitely think that there are a lot of things I kind of want to touch on, but I just like, of course, like want to keep mixing it up, but I also like want to see what y'all want to see. And hey, Kira, hi. So definitely like if you're watching and you want to toss it into the chat, cool. If you want to maybe message me on Instagram, I'll maybe see it. I'm just kidding. I'll like be better about looking, but I agree with Richard. Plants and fruit plants and gardening. Here's the one thing. I love that. Gardening. I just have to figure out like a Wi-Fi solution because I would love to like go outside and show you guys things and like take you to the garden. But the internet says no. Like I need to get like an extender or something like that so that I can like, you know, I can account for like sound and I can account for, you know, just range of my internet and streaming equipment. So I have to like figure that out. I definitely could do it all from my phone, and I need fiber optic stuff. I do, you know, but again, I'll take a I'll start a GoFundMe for fiber optic stuff. And we did get you out of your comfort zone. You did. Yeah, definitely fashion is out of my comfort zone, but it's still fun. And then obviously things that are like fitness related, I still love too. I share a lot of like, you know, fitness fashion. Hey Evans, a long time no see also. Okay, so I think we talked about everything, and these streams have been getting so long. I'm trying to be better about shortening them, but I also love chatting. So as long as y'all keep chatting, as long as y'all have questions, you know, things like that, I will continue forever and always to engage. So the stream will be as long as the stream needs to be, if y'all have questions or you want to keep talking. So on that note, I do just want to go back really quickly just because we started here, and this is like my favorite product, really. I just wanted to share it again. And then X also for the follow. Thank you. So both of these are on deal, and they're the same organizer. They're called the Wrap Meat. They are the same organizer. One has 3 compartments and one has 2. So I did add both of them because sometimes I know that one with like 3 compartments might be too much. And so I wanted to give you 2 options. The smaller one is actually on Lightning Deal too. They're both under, like they're both in that kind of like under $25 range. So if you started from the, you know, beginning, aluminum foil and me are not friends, especially in the kitchen. I hate it. So I always tear it. I rip it. I have endless amounts of rolls of, you know, aluminum foil in my kitchen where they've like ripped, and now I just have like shreds and little like thin strips of aluminum foil in the roll. So this is a great organizer for that, but you could also use it for wax paper, parchment paper, cling wrap, or whatever you kind of want to call it. Yogi says, I would like to have scheduled days and times, Amazon notifications that do not seem to work. So I have noticed that they're working better. I've had people say that they're getting them more consistently, but I agree with you. And I totally understand that. And I think that that is also why people watch like television shows, right? Like it's like consistent. I know what I'm getting, when I'm getting it. So I'm definitely trying to like put together some thoughts and ideas. So I'm also open to dates and times. I feel like a Wednesday is like a good day. Like I feel like a middle of the week is like a good time frame. And I like being on the West Coast because I can like skew my day and not have to worry about streaming really late or really early or anything like that. So talking about like an organizer or container like this one, I did put a roll of, you guessed it, aluminum foil in here. And I do have the one that has, I'll put my suggestions via IG. Fine. So rude today. So this, I have, like I said, I have the set of 3. And then I put the aluminum foil here on the bottom compartment. So on the how about what works best for you, this is also true, but I am lucky enough to do this as my full-time job. So I do have a little bit more flexibility. So like in theory, all times work for me, except the weekend and after 5, like normal business hours. Getting warmer, I know, I promise. I'm doing what I promise. I have thoughts on what I want to do. So, yes, we're going to do a plant stream soon. So we're probably like planters and dirt, and some different tools and some things like that. So there's a few things I want to buy for the garden. And so I'm like, I'm going to buy it. And then once I have all of it, then I can like round it up and stream it. So, I know it's going to be fun. So this is, I wanted to point out, I didn't share this earlier. You can hang this on the wall. So it does have the kind of pre-drilled holes or whatever you want to call it, so that you can hang it on the wall. But I don't know, I use it like this. I just lay it flat on the table. But this is your compartment. So this just like comes off, and this is where you can put your rolls of, you know, whatever you want, any wrap, any paper, etc. And so then on the front, you can pull it down, and this is a slider. So this is a cutter here. So I can just, let's see if I can do this while I'm holding it up and holding it awkwardly. So you can easily pull your aluminum foil or whatever, and then you're just able to take the cutter and the slider and take it and come straight across. So you don't have to worry. This is where aluminum foil gets me every time, is where you have to like rip it and like pull it every time. I never do it well, and then it gets all tangled, and then suddenly I have wasted aluminum foil everywhere. And actually I hate that I wasted that just now, but it's like, you know, a necessary evil to the most part. So again, I am, you know, kind of using it, demoing and sharing it with aluminum foil, but you could use any kind of, you know, paper that you want. And honestly, I think another really cool use for it would be taking it out of the kitchen and actually using it for like wrapping paper, for example. So of course the longest, this is my glass containers, I know. So obviously the really long rolls of, you know, wrapping paper aren't going to fit in here, but if you do have the smaller rolls or you've used the sheets, you could also easily cut those as well. Or honestly, you could just cut your roll in half if you wanted to, of like your longer you know, wrapping paper rolls too, and fit it in there. But just an easy kind of slide cutter for you to make your life a little bit easier in the kitchen as well, and do a little bit more prep. So like I said, there are 2 different versions, the 3, which is what I just shared, or the 2. And then I'm just like scrolling back through. all of the items today. So I think we did kind of like talk about everything. So of course I just like, this got really long and I apologize, but I always get to the end of the stream and I have that same kind of like long, like endless, PSA at the bottom, or all that fine print like you get after a commercial. So what I do want to say is, if you're watching and you're like, this girl's really cool, or you like health and wellness and fitness and even a little bit of fashion thrown in, I am very much your girl, so you should press follow. In a great world, those push notifications will come through if you have them turned on for Amazon, or you can go in and individually set notifications for any of my upcoming streams by hovering over the tile, and in the upper right hand corner there'll be a little bell. You can click on that and that will notify you when I go live. It's been my experience that the push notifications do come through, but they come through without any kind of like ringtone or like sound, and so I think that has been my experience with like missing them. But I have been getting them because I do follow some other streamers, and I do follow some friends, so but that being said, you absolutely should press follow. Today I don't have any, but sometimes I will have unique coupon codes, and I will have different types of sales deals, lightning deals, all of that you could potentially shop. And yes, you can obviously go and you can watch all of these after they're over. They are pre-recorded, they do get sent, and they do get stored on my Amazon storefront. But if I'm talking about deals, sales, lightnings, things like that, those aren't guaranteed to still be available if you watch it later. So if you prefer to start, stop, rewind, fast forward, all of that, definitely check out my Amazon storefront. I try to label everything really easy, really nice, so that you can just scroll through my channel and find a stream that you're interested in. And then of course, Richard sharing it into the chat, I do have my storefront down there. It is kind of like a weird jumble of letters and numbers and stuff. Oh, Yogi, thank you. I appreciate that. So, let's see here. So, boop. I'm just like switching over here. I'm just like transitioning through. So if you've seen something that you like, or maybe you're tuning into like the very end of this stream and you're like, man, I missed her talk about whatever. It takes about a few minutes or so, but I do upload these after the stream. You can always go back and watch later. Or if you can't watch with sound now and you want to watch with sound later, feel free. The carousel will still be there. If you're on your mobile phone, it might be a little bit more challenging to watch, but just click on the video and it'll pull it up in that mobile view, and everything is right there for you that I'm talking about in the carousel, easily clickable. So yeah, I think that's about it. So press follow, be cool, and I will, I'm going to put together some ideas. I'm going to do some brainstorming. Feel free. Richard is sharing my social down there, which is Swift Wellness. Trying to be better. Use Swift Wellness. I'm trying to post more consistently, so you can message me there. I will do my very best to respond. Richard, oh, my lighthearted streams. Thanks. I'm always like, I'm just like in a goofy mood, I feel like, all the time, but okay. All right, guys. Thank you, of course, as always. You are welcome, Evans. Thank you for tuning in. TQ, of course, thank you. And I will see everybody next time. So